Picture yourself at 80, sitting on a weathered porch swing at dusk. The golden light spills over your hands, and you quietly sift through the dusty photo albums of your life. Your heart twinges, not with fond nostalgia, but with silent echoes of roads not taken, words unsaid, and moments unchanged. Now, press pause. What if you still had time to rewrite parts of your story? What if the choices you made today could turn that twinge into a warm sigh of satisfaction later? This video isn't about regret. It's about the wisdom we wield now so regret doesn't grip us later. Let's walk through 10 powerful behaviors to release, each a rich tapestry of relatable moments, mind-shifting wisdom, and actionable insight painted in vivid, everyday language you'll want to revisit time and again. 1. Saying yes to keep the peace. You're at the office, your boss pops by with a non-urgent project. You smile, say, sure, even though you're already juggling 3 tasks. Or a friend invites you to a weekend hike when all you really want is to rest. Saying yes just to keep the peace feels easier until it layers your life with resentment. Imagine your life as a bookshelf. Every yes you didn't mean is a book shoved in crooked, pages dog-eared by neglect. Over time, the shelf buckles under misaligned obligations. That's how resentment sneaks in. Now picture delivering a gracious but firm "I can't," and feeling a wave of relief follow. Your heart breathes. Your priorities settle back in place, like books realigned on the shelf. The people who truly respect you, they stay, and often they appreciate your honesty. The ones who don't, they were never aligned with your values anyway. Wisdom takeaway. Saying no isn't rejection, it's preserving your integrity. It frees time for pursuits that matter, rejuvenating friendships, renewed hobbies, self-care. It's how you honor your future self. 2. Avoiding uncomfortable conversations. You felt it before. One friend's offhand comment that hurt, a nagging burnout at work you've buried, or simply the fear of asking for that raise. Silence feels safer, but grow this into a tree and its roots entangle. Resentment, missed opportunities, emotional distance. Imagine you're holding letters you never send. One to a friend you miss, another to your employer sharing how much you're more worth, a third telling yourself, "I'm sorry I changed." These unsent letters pile up, unread and unsigned. They weigh your spirit down. Now, imagine sending the letters. Not perfectly, maybe awkwardly. You're vulnerable, but real. That little moment of courage clears the pile. You may not get the thank you, but you free your energy. Wisdom takeaway. Uncomfortable conversations are courageous pivots, doors toward understanding, respect, and self-respect. Each one is a bridge instead of a chasm. 3. Putting off your health. Remember stomping off to work on a morning when your back was screaming, or ignoring the slight chest ache because otherwise I'm fine? Track skipping medical appointments, late-night junk, and your health backlog growing like an unbalanced checkbook. Imagine your body as your trusted car. You wouldn't drive it for years without oil change or brakes check, yet we let our bodies run on fumes, hoping no warning light flashes. Now imagine stopping at the garage, scheduling checkups, stretching gently, and swapping fast food for meals that fuel you. You feel stronger, less achy, more alive. That's not future you. This is now you investing in decades of presence and vitality. Wisdom takeaway. Health isn't maintenance, it's the foundation of freedom. Investing today in self-care means fewer regrets of infirmity later. 4. Holding on to grudges. Think back to a time when someone betrayed you, perhaps a friend who spoke behind your back, or a family member who let you down when you needed the most. The sting of that moment lingers even years later. Every time you hear their name, a sharp bitterness rises. It feels like justice to hold on to the memory, like refusing to forgive keeps you in control. But here's the harsh truth. Grudges are heavy chains, and the only person imprisoned is you. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a grudge, the coworker who wronged you, the partner who broke your trust, the sibling who never said sorry. At first, you can bear it, but as years pile on, the weight breaks your back. life becomes exhausting, not because of new burdens, but because you never laid the old ones down. Now picture this. You begin removing stones, one by one. Forgiveness isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about unloading your pack. Suddenly, you feel lighter, freer, able to walk faster toward your future. Grudges steal energy that could be poured into creating new memories, new connections, new joys. They blind you from seeing the goodness around you because you're too fixated on old scars. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation with everyone. It simply means refusing to drink poison meant for another. Wisdom takeaway. Forgiveness is self-liberation. To regret at 70 that you wasted decades reliving what someone did at 30 is to realize too late peace was always a choice within your reach.
5. Working only for money, not fulfillment. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. Secure the bag, they say, and so you push, year after year, climbing ladders you never cared to lean against the right wall. The paycheck grows, but deep down, a hollow echo answers every success. Picture someone who spent their whole life chasing a salary, but never paused to ask, "Do I even love what I do?" They wake up in retirement with a swollen bank account, but an empty soul. The travel they planned, it feels meaningless without passion fueling it. The savings, they can't buy back lost years. Now let's reframe. Fulfillment doesn't mean abandoning work to chase unrealistic dreams. It means finding alignment, choosing work that matters, or at least balancing it with passions outside of work. Maybe you can't quit your job yet, but you can nurture a side project that excites you, or volunteer in causes that ignite your heart. The truth is, at the end of life, you won't measure happiness by the commas in your bank statement. You'll measure it by the mornings you woke up eager to start, the nights you felt proud, the people you touched with your work. Wisdom takeaway: money sustains life, but meaning sustains the soul. Regret often comes when people realize too late that they traded joy for currency. Don't wait until your last chapter to balance both. 6. Comparing your life to others. Comparison is a thief so subtle it often feels natural. Scroll through social media and suddenly your joy from buying a modest home evaporates when you see someone else's mansion. You feel small. Or you celebrate a personal win until you notice someone your age achieving what seems bigger. It's like running a race, but constantly turning your head to check other runners. You stumble not because you're slow, but because your eyes weren't on your lane. Comparison warps your vision, convincing you you're behind when, in truth, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Imagine your life as a garden. Some flowers bloom early, others late. The rose can't envy the sunflower. Their beauty lies in timing and uniqueness. The moment you stop comparing, you start nurturing your own soil, and growth becomes inevitable. When older people reflect, the regret isn't usually, "I didn't achieve what others did." It's, "I didn't appreciate my journey because I kept staring at theirs." Imagine how heartbreaking it is to realize your blessings were overlooked because you were too busy envying. Wisdom takeaway: comparison is blindness. Gratitude is sight. Anchor yourself in your path because the only race you were ever meant to win is your own. 7. Waiting for the perfect time. How many dreams are buried in the cemetery of someday? You tell yourself, "I'll start when I have more money, when the kids are grown, when I feel ready." But someday rarely comes. Perfection is a mirage, always out of reach. Think of the person who always wanted to learn guitar, but said they'd start next year. 30 years later, arthritis stiffens their hands. Or the one who dreamed of traveling but postponed until health declined. The regret isn't just about what they didn't do. It's about realizing waiting cost them their chance. Now consider this. Starting small is better than not starting at all. Write the first page of that book. Sign up for the beginner's class. Take that weekend trip instead of waiting for the big tour. Perfection isn't the requirement. Presence is. Life rewards those who dare to begin. Waiting for the perfect time is like waiting for a train at a station that was never built. It will never arrive. The only ticket you need is courage, and the only schedule is now. Wisdom takeaway: start messy, start scared, start imperfect, but start. The greatest regret isn't failure, it's never trying. 8. Neglecting relationships that matter. Careers, busyness, pride, these are the thieves of relationships. You keep telling yourself you'll call your parents next week or reconnect with that childhood friend when things settle down. But weeks turn to years, and one day you find their chair empty. Picture a man on his deathbed surrounded by medical machines, but not by loved ones. He had everything money could buy, except companionship. Contrast that with a woman who may not be wealthy, but is surrounded by laughter, hands holding hers, memories blooming like flowers in the room. Relationships are oxygen to the soul. They require intentionality, calls, texts, forgiveness, time carved out. Neglecting them creates regrets sharper than any career failure. At the end of life, people don't wish they had worked more, they wish they had loved more. Wisdom takeaway: relationships are the only wealth that matters. Invest in people because in the final tally, relationships are the only wealth that matters. 9. Living without boundaries. Do you remember the exhaustion of saying yes too often, letting others drain you, allowing toxic people to occupy your peace? Without boundaries, life becomes a leaky bucket. You keep pouring energy in, but it keeps spilling out. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. They let in what nourishes and block what destroys. Saying no to manipulation, overcommitment, or emotional abuse is saying yes to peace, health, and freedom. Imagine your life as a house. Without a fence, anyone can trample your garden. But with boundaries, you protect what's precious. Those who respect your fence will find the gate. Those who don't were never guests, only trespassers. Regret often comes when people realize they lived everyone else's story, but never their own. They let others dictate their script. Boundaries help you write your narrative. Wisdom takeaway: boundaries aren't selfish. They're self-respect. Without them, regret will whisper, "You lived for others, not yourself." 10. Ignoring your inner voice. We all have it, that quiet whisper urging us towards something greater. Sometimes it tells us to leave a toxic relationship, to pursue a calling, to slow down. But we drown it with noise, societal expectations, fear of judgment, or endless busyness. Think of your intuition as a compass. Ignore it long enough, and you wander in circles, lost in paths never meant for you. Years later, regret whispers, "I knew deep down, but I didn't listen." Now, picture the opposite. You follow that voice, even timidly. It leads you towards authenticity, towards paths aligned with your purpose. It may not always be easy, but it's always true. And at the end of your life, you won't regret being real, you'll regret silencing your own soul. Wisdom takeaway: your inner voice is your life's map. Ignore it, and you'll live lost. Honor it, and you'll live free. Life isn't meant to be lived looking backward in regret, but forward with intention. These 10 behaviors, grudges, shallow work, comparison, delay, neglect, lack of boundaries, ignoring intuition, are silent thieves. They don't just steal your present, they mortgage your future peace. One day, you will sit on that porch swing, the sun setting on your years. The question is, will your heart ache with "if only," or smile with "I'm glad I did"? The answer depends on what you let go of today. Your future self is waiting. Gift them freedom, peace, and fulfillment by saying goodbye to these behaviors now. If this video spoke to you in any way, help me to share this message. Subscribe for more insightful, wisdom-driven content like this. Comment if you have any. Till next time.